I guess we will wait and see if anybody shows up. In the meantime, we'll do a few things here. All right, everybody, we got a couple things planned for today. If you're watching the review or the recording, I'll be back in just a second. I got to do a little edit. So we don't want to do that. Now we're going to do that. We'll see if that helps anybody get in here. And then go back to here. You know, when you don't do these but a year at a time, all the settings confuse you. They move stuff around. You've got to learn all over again. All right, so that looks like that's set up there. And then this will be set up over here. There's probably going to be some feedback, but I want to see. All right, now. Hi, okay, that switches the camera. That messes with those things. Oh, that's flash. Okay, figured that one out. Well, hello, Vicky. Welcome. First chatter. Almost 4 minutes in. I am fumbling around a little bit, trying to figure some things out. So bear with me, and then we'll get into doing some cutting. All right. How's the audio quality? Can you hear me okay? Great. Happy to hear that. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to do. Okay. All right, good. Good. All right, I'm going to get into cutting some rocks. Just waiting for some people to show up. Hopefully that's why you're here. That's what we expected. Okay, so there's just a couple things I was going to... These are more for later. I need to get those into polish. Snowflake obsidian. And some other jaspers. But next, we'll come over to my machine here. And we're going to just do a little bit of exploratory surgery. Like I said, I'm not 100% on what to expect. I have a piece of what I believe to be a petrified wood. I don't know, just a rough chunk. I'm just going to see how it reacts on the soil. I'd be interested in feedback in audio. If this sounds like it's too loud, it's probably going to get very loud here shortly. Okay. So it seems to be working pretty well on the saw, on the grinder, the hard stone. That's good. I think I am going to take it over to the trim saw real quick. Just... I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. I think this other one will work better. Might have been a little too ambitious for a streaming video. So if you have any questions, go ahead and shout them out. All right, great, thank you. I'm glad you're here. Right now, I'm just trying to figure out if this rock is going to be any good to turn into a cab. Oh, hippie love, thank you. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. There's a fracture going through it here. It'd be hard to see on the camera. But I'm worried that that fracture is going to come apart if I try and take this top piece off. So this one may be destined for the tumbler. See if... Yeah, All right, that's another tumbler. That's not going to be one we're going to cut as a cab today. But let's see, what else do I have here? Okay, I've got two more samples. This may look like petrified wood, but this is a piece of Ohio Flint given to me by my good friend Christina. See if I can get a little better light in here too. There we go. That's much better light. That's important. All right. So what shape do we want to make here? I don't know. So I got some really rough area up here. It's got a lot of holes in it. So I'm going to try to avoid that. We'll just see what kind of comes out. If there's some lines in this material that I'd like to capture, but I don't want them straight up and down. And that dark and light contrast intrigues me. A little bit of golden yellow down there. I don't know that I want to try and capture that tiny little sliver. You can see this material up here is all wasted. So let's get rid of that. And let's see where we are after that's gone. Oh, it looks like the A's scored 2 runs on the Phillies just now. Shoot. A's are up 2-1. I'm watching the Phil's game as I'm doing this. So I'm just trying to get rid of all of this very holy material up here. It's not very secure or very strong. It's a good sign. You can see all the little pockets that are filled in with rock dust. Now we're starting to see some possibility of some shapes that can come out of this. Vicky, yeah, so there's 3 different grits that you're looking at right now. You have the 2 hard wheels here and here that are diamond wheels, starting at 100 grit, working up to 220 grit. And then this one is a 280 grit soft wheel. It has a soft pad to it, so it has a little give as we get more of a rounded shape. I'm going to use the 100 grit diamond wheel here to shape the rock, come to a really tight shape. And then the next wheel, we'll start to take out scratches from the previous wheel. We'll still remove a good bit of material, but a little bit slower, so we can fine tune that shape and start the doming process, where we'll draw a girdle line around the stone once we get to a pleasing shape, a shape we like. And then we'll cut this stone to an angle along that girdle line to start to give it a little bit of a domed or cabochon shape. I have water constantly dripping over the wheels to keep the wheels cool, to help eliminate dust, although you can look at my hands to see rock dust on my hands. But it keeps the dust down, so I'm not breathing in that dust the entire time. Then next to me, which you haven't seen yet, but we'll see in a couple minutes, are 3 more wheels that go even finer polish and begin the actual polishing phase. Hello, Janet. Welcome to Vincent's Rock Garage. I am just polishing a piece of Ohio Flint right now and hunting for a shape, trying to find something pleasing that works within a pattern that gets rid of these little pock marks along here, these little holes in the rock. Wasn't fully baked. We want to get rid of those. I don't want those in my finished piece. A little bit later, we'll go through around the rock garage here, go over some of the tools that I have, some of the projects that I'm working on. Getting a bit of an oval shape going here. But I'm going to stick with it. We have most of those little holes gone. Yeah, still a little bit more to go here. The good thing is that once it's not, say I'm through that muddy area, it seems like a really hard stone, so it's going to hold a nice polish, I would assume. You can still see though, there's still a couple little holes going in that. I'll make those gone. Oop, dropped her. I like to turn around and rinse it off after I drop it in the muck. Just because I don't know what quality or what fell into that muck grit-wise. So if I put something a little too strong. Hello, Diane. How you doing? Good to see you. How is the weather out there today? It is hot here. We have been dealing with a heat wave in our area. Feels like it's been in the mid to upper 90s for a month and a half. Oklahoma's hot. I believe it. It is July, right? You got to expect some heat, but man, it is just not always in the mid 90s. More than a week at a time. That's weather, right? You get into funky, weird weather patterns. St. Louis. I'm just outside of Philadelphia, in case you didn't know. All right, so we got a nice little ovaloid type pattern here. It's not perfect. I love non-perfect ovals, especially with this flint that looks like it's a wood. So it feels more natural to me to not have this perfect oval shape. So I'm going to move up to the next wheel, eliminate some of the coarseness that comes with grinding on 100 grit. I'm going to get the water started on the next wheel. You'll notice it's not as loud as the prior wheel. 220 grit definitely quiets down a bit. We'll still get a little bit of shape out of this wheel. It'll still remove some material, not as much as the 100 grit wheel did. Diane, if you're still here, I was saying we're going to go through the rock garage here in a little bit. I'm going to go through some of my tools and current setup. Just waiting for a little bit, people to find out I'm here, because this was just a random live stream. Go through a couple projects we got working. One I think you'll find very interesting. Oh, it looks like the A's scored another run. Was it a single shot? No, it was two. 2 runs scored. So now A's are up on the Phillies 4-1. Top of the 5th. Shoot. All right. I think it's time to stop here. We're going to go take the step of putting the girdle on the stone, which means I need to move the camera here in a second. Drying everything off though. Lots of towels. All right, let's pop the camera off. And then we'll go together to see what we got going on. Why does everything look so dark? I wonder if that's the camera. All right, well, there's the grinder behind me. That's what we were just working on. There's the Phil's game. Where's all of our chat? Okay. All right, well, let's put this back in here. There's the stone we were just working on. This is a future project. That one's going to be fun. This was, I was working with some goldstone. It's got some sparkle to it. So this one's polished. It needs to come off the dop stick. And then I got to finish the girdle line, but we're about to do that with this other stone. This one I already finished the girdle line, but has to go through final polish. So 2 different stages. This one I did not use a dop for. This one I did. But yeah, I can get lost in those little flecks in there. And then I'm still trying to figure out how to, there's a gorgeous flash in this labradorite. And I need to figure out how to cut to keep the flash. Every time I've cut labradorite and tried to polish it, I've gone too deep and lost the flash. This one was tumbled. I just threw it through the tumbler and came out with some good colors. But now I want to cut it into a cab, now that I know that the color's in there and that it polishes up pretty good. And then this here, this is a piece of larimar and a piece of Natrolite. Now, this pink Natrolite is sometimes called pink larimar, and they have a very similar pattern. And I'm going to fuse these 2 together into one piece. Use some epoxy. And the goal is to make them one. And I practiced with this guy here. This is a piece, this was larimar and Natrolite, polished up. And then as I was polishing it, part of it blew out. So I finished polishing it still, and I glued a bail on the back just so I could wear it because I like the colors. I wasn't so worried about the actual shape. Like I said before, I'm a fan of irregular shapes. But I know I can do better, and I want to do better. And so I'm going to take a second swing at it into these two pieces. So that's a future project that's coming down the pike. Now do I go side to side? I haven't figured out the orientation yet. But for now, this is that piece of flint that we're working on. You can see those lines in it. It would look like wood. I like to take a little bit of fun juice, shot of alcohol, and just help clean the dust off of her. And then I wash my hands because I've got rock dust all over my hands. All right, hands washed. Alcohol is evaporating. Now, to draw the girdle, this is when I teach class, I spend an extra few minutes on girdle drawing because it's one of the most important pieces for this rock. The girdle is going to determine just how thick the cabochon is going to be. So our goal is to draw a line evenly all around the outside of this, and that's the point in which we're going to grind to. I would like this rather thin. And if I do, I'm going to have a higher dome. There's more material on top. Or if I make the stone a little bit thicker, I could have a lower dome, which will have a little bit flatter of a cab top to it. So I'm going to go somewhere about a third of the way up, maybe a little bit more. There we go. I hold the Sharpie in place, and I spin the stone on a flat surface around the point of the Sharpie. So if you can see that, Sharpie stays in place. I spin the stone around. And then we have a line. All the way around at just the right depth. Sometimes, Vicky, sometimes it's a steady hand. You know, the pressing the Sharpie into the table and spinning the stone eliminates a lot of the shakiness. But yeah, lots of practice doing it too. All right, now I'm going to prep us to head back over, but I'm going to check out some more comments to see if I missed anything. Oh, thank you everybody for the likes or the thumbs up. I appreciate that. There's 3 of you here, and I got 3 likes so far, which is great. Help other people find us, right? That's an important thing. Speaking of, let me just go out and let my friends and family know I'm doing this. guess some people may not even know that I'm doing this. You did get the notification, so you are following Vincent's Rock Garage. Awesome. There we go. All right, I shared it on Facebook now, so I bet some people will come in from Facebook and say hello. I'd be surprised. I'm really surprised when I talk to people and I haven't talked about this enough that they know what's going on. I figured everybody I've ever interacted with knows exactly what I do and how I do it, and wouldn't be surprised by what happens here at the Rock Garage. But every day I talk to somebody like, really? That's it? That's what goes on? That's what a lapidary artist does? That's how you make a cabochon? So that's kind of what inspired me to get back here doing this again. I'm going to get back over to the machine. Now, Vicki, you asked me about the wheels. So there's all 6 of them together. This is my little rig for holding the camera up in front of the wheels as I'm grinding. But you'll see that in a little bit, we'll move over to these 3 wheels, which are a finer grit. And that will start the process of the actual polish. We're still going to work on the heavy wheels here, which they're the ones that are going to shape everything. All right, let me see if I can get this in the holder here without causing too much of an earthquake. There we go. All right, we got power, 79%. That's good. I'm going to try and move you away from the machine a little bit this time and see if I can't get better lighting for you. Now it's crooked. Hello, Angela. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you. Oh, I just got a severe thunderstorm warning pop up for here. So just to give you all a heads up, if things get too crazy, maybe we'll be able to see a little bit better. Here's the stone I'm working on. Now you can see the girdle clearly at this point. And I'm going to go back to, this was cutting pretty well. You know what? I'm going to go back to the 100 grit wheel just to take off a lot of extra material. So it's going to get noisy again, but I want it to go a little bit faster with you all watching. I don't want to take forever. Divine Spark Creations, hello, and 3 stars to you too. Thank you for joining us. What just happened? My water pump is not pumping. There it goes. Now my water pump is pumping. That would have been terrible. Have the water go out in the middle of a live stream. First live stream in a year, and the water goes out. All right, here we go. It's going to get loud again for a little bit. Let me know how the audio sounds. I'm using a new microphone, so we'll see if that works. It helps keep the worst of the noise down, but this can get pretty loud on the wheel here. So now I'm cutting down to that girdle line you saw me draw. It's going to help me make a nice even dome. did I miss? There it is. Okay, Divine laughed. Hello, Divine. How's the weather where you are, Divine? We were just saying how hot it is. Oklahoma and here outside of Philly. I feel like our weather's a little cooler than it is in Florida. When you're a Floridian. Right now, just grinding out to, you can see that now we've gone from a completely flat stone. We've got a little bit of a, yep, that sounds about right, Divine. It's been 90 to 100 degrees for like a month and a half. So you can see the bevel that we're starting to cut using the wheel. We're getting close to that girdle line. We'll just keep going around until we hit the girdle line, and then we'll start going back and cut that bevel down a little bit. You'll see. It'll all come together nicely. A lot of people like to use a dop stick on their stone. At this point, they would grab a little hot wax and stick to the back of the stone with the hot wax and a wooden stick. I have one over here. Just showing everybody. So I dopped up this stone, this piece of goldstone. You can see this wax at one time was a liquid. Just smushed it onto the back of the stone, and it holds the stone. The wax cuts just fine on the wheel. I mean, it makes it go away. Yep, exactly, to avoid sanding fingers. I don't like to use dop sticks. I prefer to use, oh, the A's scored another run. Actually, 2-6, it's now 6-1, Oakland. Ugh. All right, so I'm watching the Phillies game at the same time. I prefer to use my fingers, and that's how I've gotten used to doing it without dopping in most cases. When they get really small, I will use the dop stick. I find, the wheels don't hurt your fingers. Like they won't take off skin unless you really push in there or catch a corner, but they will give you a really bad manicure. So you can see my fingers always have a little bit of a cut in the nail just because of the way I hold the stone. But most of the techniques I use don't require a dop stick. And that's just personal preference. A lot of people choose, funny, I've taught a couple classes now at our lapidary society. And the woman that I teach with likes to dop, prefers dopping her stones. And so we teach the students with both. All right, so now I've gotten really close to that girdle line. It's not quite there yet. I like to leave myself a little bit of a gap before I start the next step, which is I'm going to take that angle, the bevel that we've cut in there, and now I'm going to cut down on top and cut that down. So I'm not going to be anywhere near the girdle at this point. I'm going to start cutting this closer to the center, which starts the process of rounding over the stone. I also do a lot of this by eye. just because I've had so much seat time at the wheel. I've been in this machine many an evening cutting stones. So I'm used to where and what I need to cut to keep it even. Some people will take the top and they'll draw concentric circles on top to help them guide them with where and how to keep everything even. Another cool tip. There have been times when I've had a difficult stone where I've done that, or I've tried to even out a stone and repair something. I really just want to take that bezel now. You can see we're getting closer to the dome. You can see the light reflection, right? Now the lights are still dancing around there. You see how they're like waving and jumping across the stone? It's because we're not quite domed. But it's a cool effect. That's one of the ways that I use to check and make sure that I'm nice and even. When those lights are not dancing around very much or at all, so a flat spot there, that's how you know you have a nice even dome. So if you're ever buying a cabochon, if you're ever at a gem show or somebody's shop, and you take it and you grab a light, you find the closest light, and you just scan the light over top of the stone, you can see the lights dancing. Say, ooh, all right, we can do a better polish than that. Oh, A's with another home run. 7-1. Oh no, this is gonna be one of those games. Oh. This is gonna be one of those games. So we're getting closer. You can see the lights are dancing a lot less. I mean, there's still a little wiggle there. They are definitely dancing a lot less. So I'm going to move up to the next wheel now. So we're going to go from the 100 grit diamond up to the 220 grit diamond. And that will take off a little less material. It's going to go a little slower. But we want to cover the whole thing and get rid of the scratches from the 100 grit. Something else that's interesting that I can use to my advantage is these wheels are relatively worn. I've cut a lot of cabochons on these wheels. And when they get worn, they tend to get worn from the center out. So the center is the most worn area, and the outer edges have the most grit or the heaviest grit on. And you can see that as I'm grinding, you know, the center takes off a little bit, but the edge will actually start to cut in and take off a lot more material. So if I start out here at a more aggressive position and work my way in towards the center, I can judge how much material I'm going to take off. And I can speed up or slow down my cut. And at this point, we're really close to having a good shape to take up to the next wheel. I don't want to take off a ton of material, so I'm going to stay close to the center here. I also want to make sure that, remember that girdle line? We don't want to go below it. Come on, focus. We don't want to go below the girdle. We do need to be right on it. You can see we're really close to that Sharpie line. Why is my camera not focusing? There we go. A little bump in the lights right there. That edge could use a little bit of work. Get that fixed. Right. We're going to wait towards the center there. Right, let's see. Now we can use that light to scan over top of. That's something right there that won't go away. May have just been a material difference. Looks really good. I'm going to move up to the next wheel. So we're going to turn off the hard diamond wheels now. So these diamond wheels are hard plated. There's no give on those. The next wheel is a cushioned 280 wheel. Still diamond, but there's a little bit of give now. So when you push on this wheel, when you push that curved top of the stone, the wheel is going to go from rounded and give a little bit to give you a little cup. That way you've got a nice coverage and you're covering more than just one little spot on a rounded stone. Let's see. I ordered 5 pounds of super flashy slab lab. It was super oiled when it got here, yep. So I had to wash it. And now it's unpolished looking and sharp edges. So Divine, yeah, I mean, I was just saying earlier, I've tried to cut labradorite many times, and it's so difficult to keep labradorite, the flash, on the face of whatever it is you're cabbing. I know Matt has some super flashy labradorite slabs that came in all oiled up. He washed them, now they look sad, and he keeps intending to bring them over. So maybe one of these days he'll bring over those slabs and we'll try and cab them. But it's not easy to chase the flash. It takes a lot of practice, and I have not spent time practicing. And now I'm doing the same movements on this wheel. Nice even stroke to help round the top a little bit. One of the things you can look into, especially if you have somebody near you who's into tumbling, you can tumble those slabs of labradorite without removing much material at all and get them nice and shiny again. And often that keeps the flash as well. Yeah, I find tumbling labradorite to be very rewarding. Most of it tumbles very well, as long as it's not all fractured up. So back to my piece of Ohio flint here. This piece of flint is ready to now start polishing the girdle. The girdle, again, is that area below the line that we drew, the girdle line. You can see how in some areas I've cut the girdle line down considerably by getting really close to it. Yeah, so a rotary tumbler is going to take off more material. You can try starting your rotary tumbler at a higher grit instead of starting at 80 or 100 or whatever it is you usually start your rocks at. You can start higher since they're already slabbed and generally polished. You might want to start at the 500-600 range and see if you can't get it polished from there, or use a vibrating tumbler. A vibrating tumbler won't remove much material at all. And will generally just polish all the sides and kind of round over the rough edges. I've polished thin slabs tumbled thin slabs before in the vibrating tumbler. I don't do much in the rotating tumbler. So now's the time, because of the way this material is cutting, now's the time that I'm going to go ahead and start to polish the girdle, which is going to take out that Sharpie marker girdle that we drew. It'll start to take out these little tiny nicks that are around the edge. Well, hello, Tiff. How you doing? Good to see you. Hope you're having a wonderful Sunday. I can't get that. Okay, there you go. Now you can see how close I am to that girdle line and how nice and even that dome is. The stone's still very matte. Now that it's dry, you can see that you can't see that reflection of light in it anymore. So it does not have much of a polish on it at all, but that's going to change over the next couple stones. There's a few little pits in there still. We'll work on those. Find a good place to stop or just leave them as a feature of the stone. So let's take off the girdle edge. And I'll just go around the stone. This stone is hard enough that I can do it on this wheel. I've got to make a decision whether I do it on this wheel or the next one. But since this stone is this hard, this wheel, the 280 grit soft wheel, isn't removing much of the stone at all. You can see I still have some Sharpie there, even though I've gone over it a couple times. So it takes a little bit to take off that much material. All right, Phil scored a couple runs. Woohoo! Come on, guys, rally time. I'm watching the Phil's game. It's 7-3 Phillies right now. So I want to keep going around here a couple times. I'll get nice and smooth. Go back, hit it from a couple different directions. It'll take out all the scratches from the previous wheels. Yeah, rock tumbling was a fun hobby. I really enjoyed it. I was all ready to compete in the rock tumbling world competition, rock tumbling. So Google it if you want to look up some of the awesome work they did. But you basically buy a parcel of material. Everybody gets the same material that was collected by this rock club that ran it. And I ran into a problem in that my tumbler broke. It was just a horrible experience. My tumbler fell apart, the frame busted, and I contacted the manufacturer, and the manufacturer said, we're not going to do anything about it, even though they had a warranty on the frame, and I bought it just a couple of years, or less than 2 years ago. And I said, well, you gave a warranty. And he said, oh, it'd be bad business for me to do anything. I was fuming that this guy would not stand behind his broken product. He knew he sold shit, and he just decided that it was okay to leave it out there, and he didn't give a rat's ass about anybody. So really frustrating that I've got a tumbler sitting over there to a double barrel vibrating tumbler that I can't use, can't get it tuned back again. I tried working with a local shop to get it fixed. Great guys, fantastic metal workers, did a beautiful job. The name Envy Metalworking, it's ENVY. They're in Delaware County here. And Noel was a great guy. I mean, he did me solid. It was just, I couldn't get the machine working again the way that I wanted it to work for the quality of polish that I wanted to give it. So I gave up on tumbling, and yeah, if you ever have a chance to buy a vibrating tumbler, stay away from any new Lotto tumblers. I would avoid them at all costs. The guy's a real sleazeball. I don't like him. I'll never deal with him again. So hopefully someday I'll find a good replacement. I'm going to bring you around now. We're going to switch sides so that I can bring you over to the... How do I want to do this? So I'll probably take you out of here because I got this whole rig. Then I want to switch over to the polish side. And so how am I going to... I'm going to try and do this one-handed. If I loosen this, spin this guy around like so. And then spin this around. Is this going to get in my way? I don't know. But now, okay, the handle's in the way. And YouTube generally doesn't like flipping around a camera, because if I go like this... Oh, okay, they did it. All right, they got better. YouTube did something right, guys. All right, so now I can play with this a little bit and get you all to a good point where you can see what I'm doing. Huh. That's not too bad. I'll have to... I can't read the comments this way, though. See, this is the other problem with not streaming for a year. All of a sudden, now I got to figure all this stuff out again. How do I get you guys in close? I wonder. All right, let's do this. Let's do this. We're going to put you guys over here for a minute. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to make you all sick. We're going to clamp you in. Let you look at some fun rocks. And I'm going to be right back. I'm going to try and move this frame around a little bit and see if I can't make it work better for what we're trying to do today. All right, I think I got an idea. I got a plan. Let's see if I can make this plan work. I don't know. This might be a little bit shaky. I got a plan, man. Yep. Let's see. So here's what I'm trying to accomplish now. So now we're hanging from the top. We're hanging from the top. Oh, it's a little bit. Oh, it doesn't want to stay. Why? Oh, I see why. Okay. Bear with me, everybody. I'm so sorry. All right. Can you all see that all right? Because I can get in there pretty good now. Does that look good? Let's see. So this is the dry stone. This is what we're working with right now. You can see, you can barely see any light reflecting in it. And the A's are up 9-3 now. Oh man, this is a tough one to watch, folks. So now we're going to start on 600 grit pre-polish. And we're going to move up to 1200 grit, and 3000 grit is what's on this machine right now. So hopefully, by the time we're done, you'll be able to see my face in the reflection. I don't know if that's going to happen. I'm just teasing. We'll start polishing the girdle here. And then I'm going to do a little half and half polish. And you'll see that some of my polishing technique changes the way I polish the stones versus what I was doing on the other machines, on the other wheels, I'm sorry. But I'm only doing half of the stone right now, so I can show you what the difference might look like. Once I dry this guy off, see if we can tell much of a difference. Can't get this thing to focus. There we go. No, can't really tell much of a difference yet. Dropped it again in the muck. So just a quick rinse. Make sure I get all that grit off of there in case there's any contaminated particles down there. So we're just slowly bringing this. This is a hard material, so it is taking its sweet time polishing up. Lots of wipes. Wipe down. Check the polish. Go back at it. Wipe down again. Still not seeing much of a difference. What I'm checking for now is evenness. So it doesn't look very shiny at all. 600 grit is not bringing out a polish on this material. I'm just making sure that what I can see is even all the way across. And there's still some pitting in there. It's just going to be part of the stone, part of the material. Let's see what happens when I bring it up to 1200 grit. A scored another run. Now it's 10-3 Oakland over the Phillies. Geez. Hello, Chris. Good to see you. Yep, I decided to go live just because it was a hot, hazy Sunday afternoon. Figured I'd hop in and just let y'all watch what I was working on. This is a piece of Ohio Flint that looks like petrified wood when I can get my camera to focus on it. So you're starting to see a little bit of a reflection now. You can see the light. Now that even it's dry, you can see it more clearly in the reflection of the stone. There's some pitting that's still popping out of there. So I have, Janet. I've done faceted stones, and I can show you one. I have one right above me here. My first ever facet. Let me turn that off for a second. Take a little break, and I'll show you my first ever faceted stone. So I took a faceting class. I belong to an organization called Tuscarora Lapidary Society. They're here in Brookhaven, Pennsylvania, and we teach classes on all sorts of lapidary skills and technique. And so I took cabochon classes. I now teach some intro to cabochon classes. I've taken metalworking classes with some phenomenal teachers. tried to learn how to work with silver, gold. I've done okay. I haven't taken it very far. But this was my first faceting class stone. You know what? Let me take it out of here. It's kind of hard to see it in here. See if we can get some focus on that guy. Come on, camera. All right, I'm taking the camera out of this cradle, bump you around a little bit so maybe we can get a better view of. So that was my first ever faceted stone in faceting class. There you go. Material was provided by the instructor. And it is glass. But it was a great, man, I cannot get this to focus to save my life. It's a little better. I swear it's a YouTube thing. It just needs more light. There it goes. You can see all the facets. So the funny story is, I did well faceting. It came out nice, beautiful. My instructor was phenomenal. His name is Steve. I did not do well. I did not enjoy faceting. There's a very technical skill that comes with faceting. There's charts that you follow. You go through a whole series of setting angles and setting pavilion and 50 times across the lap and then back again. And it was too technical for me. I really rather grab the stone, get it on the wheel, feel what the stone is telling me to do, grind it until I get a shape that is pleasing to me, and then say, okay, now I know how to make it look rounded and shiny, versus sitting there on a faceting machine and following some chart. Oh, look at Matt. Hey, good to see you, Matt. How you doing? I'm not going to be on much longer, so I won't compete with you if you're going live tonight. Or maybe I will. I don't even know what time it is. What is it? 3:30. Okay. So I've just been cutting some stones, doing some polishing, bumming around in the garage. Showed everybody my first faceted attempt because there was a question about faceting. So I didn't like it so much that my instructor uses me as an example now. Says, faceting, a lot of people like it, but it's not for everybody. And I'm the everybody that he's talking about when he says not for everybody, because I did not enjoy faceting. But I know how to do it, and so now I understand the basics. And if I ever need to, I know what to do to get into it. All right, so we are polishing a piece of flint. You can start to see we're getting a little bit better reflection. This was just starting on the 1200 grit. So I'm going to go back to the 1200 grit for a little bit longer and see if I can get a little better of a polish on there. And then we'll move up to the 3000 grit and see what happens. Now, some stones, in my short few years of doing this, I've learned that some stones just don't polish. It doesn't matter how long or how much you try. I've worked with this material before, so I know some of it works really well. I actually won an award for one of my Flint pieces. But sometimes you get a piece of stone that was under a different set of pressure and had different minerals stuck in it and just formed a different way. And no matter how hard you try, you're never going to get a mirror finish. Rinse it again because I dropped it in the muck. Hit the chat thing so I can see if there's any chat messages. Tiff is glad. Thank you, Tiff. I'm glad you're glad. All right, now moving up to 3000 grit. Final stage of polish on this machine. Matt, if you're still there, I'm using a new microphone. Same company of the microphone that you use, but a few different features with it, which I kind of like. Allows you to charge the microphone and the receiver on the phone at the same time, and charge your phone while the receiver is plugged in, which is really nice. I know that you guys have a problem every now and then remembering to plug yours in. But if you get a chance, everybody, if you're here, my friend Matt's Crazy Art, he has a YouTube channel where he goes through wire wrapping techniques. He sells cabochons and other material for making jewelry. You check him out, Matt's Crazy Art. Who am I kidding? If you're here, you already know Matt. I think most of you, that's a couple YouTube friends snuck on. There he is. Okay, yep, he's there. Oh, another run for the A's. 11-3. Oakland's crushing Philadelphia right now. They didn't show up. Good. I'm glad you can hear me well through the grinding. I was worried about that. I didn't want to have to scream over top of the machine. All right, let's take a minute and dry this puppy off and see what we got. It says there's 8 of you here, but there's only 2 people chatting. If you're here watching, just say hi. Pop a little message in the comments so I know that you're here, please. Before I show the shiny final product here. And so now we all remember what it looked like at the previous wheel and how I was worried that maybe it wasn't going to shine up. It wasn't going to look real nice. I couldn't see any reflections. You can see kind of a fuzzy outline of a light. And now here's what we got. Now you can see the lights, the clearly definition across the 2. That's the difference between 1200 and 3000 grit. Can you see my face in there? I don't know. Did that work? Hey, hi, that's me. Here I am. Again, it looks like a wood. There's definitely striations like a wood pattern in there, but this is Flint. It is a 100% stone. Started as stone, ended as stone. I'm trapped in a stone. No. Yep. All right. So anybody who's just got here, you can go back to the beginning and watch how this started as just a scrap piece of flint that I had. We talked a little bit about faceted stones. I showed some of my future projects here, some things that I'm working on, which includes this larimar and Natrolite combination. I want to confuse these 2 together the way that I did with this pendant here, and just do a little better job with shape and thickness. This was kind of got off the rails because of a chunk of it blew out as I was cutting it. So I just started to preform these into a rough shape, get rid of the pieces that I don't need, and I'm going to fuse them together with some epoxy. This has been my epoxy of choice lately. This stuff has been phenomenal. Stays clear. It does a great job holding stones, holding bales on. It's just been working good, so I like it. It's just a quality 2-part epoxy. I mix it up using the little backs of stickers. Oh, look, Tiff's too cool for school with her sunglasses. Did anybody have any questions? Anybody want to see anything specifically? Or not so specifically? Specifically or generically? There we go. Now I can get a sip of my beverage. Natrolite, this white stone from Indonesia. It's called Natrolite. Natrolite. Oh, I hear thunder. Wonder if we're going to have I know we had a severe weather alert. I wonder if we're going to have a storm coming. Oh yeah, the rain's starting. Wind's blowing. It's gray out here. Woo. Hopefully I still sound clear as I walk away from my phone. So here's some more raw pieces of Natrolite. And a lot of people compare it to larimar. Although this polishes up pink, as you can see here, and they call it pink larimar. It's not exactly pink larimar. I have another piece that I polished. See if I can find that. Where did I do with the Natrolite? There it is. Okay, so this is two things going on here. So these are some polished pieces of polished Natrolite that I finished, as well as some silver working that I'm working on, kind of in the middle of. This is a pre-form of Natrolite. It hasn't been polished yet, but it's in the process of being polished. This is the raw, and then this is a finished Natrolite cabochon, and it just polishes up wonderfully. That polish on that is so solid. And then this pendant is something I'm working on with silver. The top is it's Indonesian marcasite plume. It has a very translucent appearance to it if you can get some light behind it. Let me grab a flashlight, help us see better. You can see through each of these. They have a very translucent appearance to them. It's hard to get on camera. Maybe a more direct light. There you go. Whee. And these stones aren't exactly set yet. I still have some more work to do to polish and finish this pendant off. But this is all done in silver. And there's the back, what the back is going to look like. I'm working on this bail here a little bit so that a place to attach it. And these three stones going in like so. Oh, so the top one is Indonesian marcasite plume. The middle one is BC ocean picture stone. It's just a dendrite floating inside of that ocean picture stone. That's from Canada. There's a YouTuber. His name is Dan Hurd, D-A-N-H-U-R-D. He has the exclusive claim to that mine. And this I purchased 2 years ago, 3 years ago from him. And then this is that Natrolite. And so this is the pendant that I'm working on now. Got some repairs and some work to do to get it nice and shiny and finished. That's hopefully what will come out soon. And I've just been keeping it in this little case. And what I found, here's an interesting thing. I never knew what the name of these cases were. These little glass-topped cases with a foam in the back. It's called a Riker case, if you're a Star Trek fan. R-I-K-E-R case. And they come in all different sizes. And they have the glass top. And they hold the stones firmly against the wadded matted backing. And I mean, I've got 6 different size cases. You can see Riker cases. I never knew. That's something I learned just a couple months ago. It's a cool way to display cabochons or jewelry of any type. They're a little awkward for display purposes. Let me put this stone back before I forget it. Oh no, it's 13-3. Oh man. The A's are up 13-3 over the Philadelphia Phillies. Woo, I dropped the stone. The faceted stone. Nope, that's not right. Come on, get where you belong. All right, hang that back up. All right, do you want to see me cut another one, or were there any specific questions about what I do, or the shop, the studio? Oh gosh, Tiffany. Janet want to see so I couldn't give you a number. It's been overwhelming, just how much stuff has gone into it. But at the same time, I've been absolutely blessed. And a lot of this equipment has come from people who have seen what I do and have appreciated it and said, hey, I have this available. Would you like this? I've had somebody tell me about an estate clean out who said, hey, somebody wants to sell all this stuff. Do you want to buy it? And, but not even so much the equipment. It's the fixtures, the shelves, the work tables, all of those things that go into building out a studio. Just my son and I built these shelves. So, just assembling these shelves as a workspace has been, I can't even quantify how much it costs to put the shelves together. The wood wasn't terribly expensive, except it was done in the middle of COVID, and what lumber prices were doing back then. So, yeah, that'll get you. Finding this display case, right? My display case here from a friend, he was selling it. What it cost me, 40 or 50 bucks for the case, the glass case itself. And then I had to rewire it and put appropriate lighting in it so you could see all of these things. Now, the display case doesn't really have much, if any, of my work. I didn't make anything in here. This is all stuff that I just have acquired or was given, and I enjoy looking at. So that's why it's in here. There's my quartz shelf, aquamarine plate. There's another aquamarine sphere sticking out of host material. My little jade crow back there. A little quartz crystal. I got my dinosaur bone on the bottom down here. If you look at those, that's actual dinosaur bone vertebrae. You can see where the vertebrae was refilled in the center with stone and has turned petrified over the years. That's a nice chunk of bright red, very hot, very radioactive dinosaur bone. So Janet wants to see the sodalite. So let me get this sodalite piece out. That's charoite. Oh, hang on for 1 second, everybody. Okay, I'm back. My wife and my dog just walked in. Come here, Jasper. Jasper, come here. I'm gonna say hi to my dog and my wife. Hi, wife.
Hi.
She's the one who lets me have the rock, right? And this is Jasper. Hi, Jasper. Hi, buddy. Come here. Come here. Okay. Good boy. Who's my good boy?
You want him to stay in here?
Jasper, he can hang out. Jasper's a rescue. We got him about a year ago, a little over a year. He's an American Coonhound. Yep. Oh, it's storming. It's storming out there. So he probably wants to go back with you then. Yep. That was my wife. She lets me have this space out here. So the sodalite piece here. This sodalite piece was a tumbled piece of sodalite. And it never came out of tumble correctly. Like there were always these little fractures and bits in here. Bye, Jasper. Yes. You're Vicky. We have always adopted. Or we've rehomed a dog. But except with the exception of my very first dog when we got married, where we purchased a Boston Terrier, we belong to a Boston Terrier rescue, and we have rescued multiple Boston Terriers from different situations in their lives. We've helped to foster dogs and have foster dogs find their new homes. We volunteered at shelters. We are a big dog family. So, are you, Vicky? That's awesome. Is it any specific breed, or do you just foster whoever, whatever comes across the need? The storm is getting worse, folks. The storm is getting worse. I can hear the thunder, and the lights just flickered, so I apologize. Groovy Paws Rescue. Oh, Pomeranians? Okay. Seniors and special needs. All right. Senior dogs are tough, right? I mean, they definitely have, the phrase, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. They have things that are ingrained in them that make it very difficult. But they are also sometimes the most appreciative dogs. They just know when it's gone from bad to great. So thank you for rescuing senior dogs. It definitely takes a special type of human to handle a senior. Yep, so we got Jasper as a puppy. He was just a few months old, and he was imported up north from some Texas rescue. And that was the first time we rescued a puppy. We've had young dogs. We've had some adult dogs. No, there are not many rescues or households for senior dogs. That is very true. It's tough. You're often dealing with, you know what you're dealing with. I don't want to get into it all here. Oh, so let me finish about soda. My ADD brain is taking me all over the place. Sorry. So I'm going to take this sodalite piece and I'm going to polish it on those grinding wheels, very similar to what I just did with that piece of flint. We'll get through all of this and down into those gorgeous layers of colors. You can see the fractures that just, even in the polisher, even in the tumbler, it just never went away. But I can reshape this and I can make it nice, even though it's, it's got a little bit of a slant to it. It is the color. That's what struck me, Tiff. This color is absolutely amazing, and the variation of blues. I mean, this is blue jean sodalite. You know, it looks like a pair of acid wash jeans. So I'll make a nice cab out of it, retain that color, get rid of some of those fractures, and then try and find a good setting for it or a good use for it. All right, everybody. I think I'm going to wrap it up. I just had another clap of thunder out there, and my lights are flickering here. Oh, I'm back. Okay, so I think I got disconnected for a minute. It just said you're live again. I think we're having a little bit of internet connection issues as well. So I think I'm going to sign off. Thank you all for being here. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Feel free to share this video if you know somebody who's interested in, and you're telling them about how to make a cabochon. They say, I don't know, what am I doing? You know, this is just a quick, well, it wasn't really that quick, but it was just a general overview of the process of making cabochons. Let me get up here and so goodbye, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for hanging out with me for a little bit. It's always fun. I'm hoping to do more of these. The more that you guys interact, the more the people that get to see this, the more I know that it's worthwhile and gives me the serotonin hit so that I want to keep doing it. All right. If you ever have questions, if you're watching this on replay and you have a question, you can always go to Facebook, Lapidary Angel. That's my Facebook page. So you can always ask there for questions or leave a comment down below. Ask the question. It might give me the spur to make the next video. If you say, hey, I'd love to see how you cut rocks down from a boulder down to a slab, we can go through that. All right, everybody. Good night. Thank you again. I appreciate all of you. Till next time. Bye-bye.